6 people who used to work for Brazil's suspended president are due to testify on the second day of her impeachment trial. There were angry exchanges when the trial opened on Thursday. Dilma Rousseff is accused of manipulating government accounts during her 2014 re-election campaign. She denies any wrongdoing and says the charges are politically motivated. Well, for more on the impeachment developments, we're now joined by TRT World's Anelise Borges, live from Brazil's capital, Brasilia. Anelise, heated debates on Thursday. What are we likely to see on day 2?
Well, today the defense will present its witnesses. In total, 6 people will be heard, 6 former allies of suspended President Dilma Rousseff, including, of course, Brazil's former finance minister Nelson Barbosa, who's expected to argue that the financial maneuvers used by Dilma Rousseff, the ones she's being tried for here in the Senate, were common practices used by other governments, by previous governments. They are not crimes. They do not represent grounds for impeachment. And as you mentioned yesterday, the opening day of this final process here in the Senate was setting the tone for what we're likely to see in the next few days. A heated confrontation between 2 senators who exchanged insults, as well as the disqualification of a key prosecution witness. This second phase, now this defense phase, will culminate, of course, in the appearance of Dilma Rousseff, who is expected to come here to the Senate on Monday to defend herself. We spoke to Dilma Rousseff's attorney, who said she is a very strong woman. She is doing fine. She's preparing herself for this decisive moment. But he insisted that she is a warrior, a fighter who's always fought for a just cause, that of democracy.
Anelise, now this impeachment process has basically paralyzed Brazilian politics. Bring our viewers up to speed on some of the main points of contention here.
Well, perhaps the most disputed element in this whole process is whether or not it's being conducted in the interest of the country, since the senators who are now trying Dilma Rousseff, for the most part, are themselves involved in corruption scandals. More than half of the members of both houses of Congress here in Brasilia are under investigation or have been charged with crimes that include fraud, slavery, and even homicide. Michel Temer himself, the interim president, who is expected to lead the country for the next 2 years if Dilma Rousseff is indeed found guilty, he has been banned from running for president for the next 8 years after he was found guilty of breaking campaign finance laws. 3 of his ministers were forced to step down after bribery allegations. The man who initiated this process, Eduardo Cunha, the Speaker of the lower house of Congress, was himself forced to resign after he was found guilty of having received $40 million in bribery. I could go on and on. So there's really a sense here in Brazil that the entire political system is quite hopeless, and as much as 62% of Brazilian voters would like to see Dilma Rousseff ousted, but would also like to see Michel Temer, the interim president, removed from power.
All right, Anelise Borges, live for us from Brasilia. Thank you for that update.